So aloha everyone, welcome. We are back and we just watched one about Sugar and RM. And my mom, the other question from our other videos were that my mom wanted to really have more information about how they formed as a group, which I guess in the last one we recorded also shared that. So we'll watch a part of it. We might have to pause because we have something, an appointment, but let's go ahead and watch.
Okay. First things first, a big announcement and a change to the channel. We are rebranding. The era of the Asian theory is over. We are pleased to announce the new channel.
So this is like a update. So he had an earlier one before.
We believe this name more strongly represents our brand and who we are as a channel.
Let me know if you have to. Okay, who's that? There we go. Okay, before the name comes on, you have to tell. Okay, who's this? Who's this? Jin. This one? I'm coming. Sugar.
That's Sugar.
This one? J-Hope. Okay. Listen. Okay, here. They don't remember. I gotta give them the names.
That's a new part.
That's me. Yes, that's me. And John. JK. Okay, there. So this is the early days. You see, like the hip hop influence. You just saw from that.
4 Gs. Yeah, that's how I know it. And D and Sugar and right?
Well, you get another chance to learn because he'll go through like how they got in.
I thought 7. Yeah. 4 J's and 3.
For this video, we've partnered up with Vapor 95. Vapor 95 is an LA-based company that makes really cool aesthetic clothing and home goods about anime, vaporwave, and retro 80s and 90s art. And this beautiful cherry blossom shirt is actually from Vapor 95. Use the link in the description below to get 15% off.
We're supposed to pause to do this
sweaters, hoodies, tapestries, merch, you name it. Just click the link below.
Thank you for your...
Now, on to the video.
Thank you for your...
Today, everyone knows the name of BTS. They've been invited onto late-night talk shows, they've shattered records, they've sold out stadiums, they've made it onto the big screen. These days, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who didn't know who these guys were or haven't heard at least one of their songs. And if they don't, either they've been living under a rock or they're 100 years old. The success of the Bangtan Boys is worldwide, but it wasn't always like this. The very existence of BTS can be owed to its founding father, an innovator by the name of Hitman Bang. His idea to create a rap group was somewhat inspired by YG. In the late 90s, he experimented with this idea with different trainees, eventually choosing 7 members. And while 3 of them eventually left, the remaining 4, Teddy, Danny, Jinhwan, and Baekhyun, debuted in 1998 as One Time. Their first album, One Time for Your Mind, was one of the year's best-selling albums and won several awards, including the Global Disc and SBS Music Awards for Best New Artist and KMTV's Award for Best Hip Hop Artist. The group enjoyed moderate success and released 4 more albums before going on indefinite hiatus in 2006 due to their mandatory military service. The year was 2010. And the 5-year-old company Big Hit Entertainment had previously signed 2 artists, 88 and 2AM. They had their share of successes, but they were very traditional K-pop groups. Big Hit wanted a fresh new sound, and upon listening to One Time, CEO Hitman Bang Si-hyuk had decided that that was the sound that he had been looking for. And on top of that, the youth needed someone to relate to, but more importantly, to look up to. He decided that he would create a hip-hop group. At 15 years old, Kim Namjoon auditioned for a certain Big Deal Records, which he completely botched, forgetting the lyrics to the song he was performing. Afterwards, fellow rapper Sleepy recommended that he try auditioning at another label, Big Hit, and even put in a good word for him to one of the producers there. At age 16, Namjoon auditioned in front of Bang Si-hyuk himself, and instantly impressed him. He was offered to deal with Big Hit on the spot, which Namjoon accepted and became a trainee, officially choosing a name for himself, Rap Monster, destined to become the leader of the newly created group. Now that a fearless leader was chosen, they needed more members.
But they have a different
Min Young-gi was a 17-year-old living in Daegu.
Wait, sorry. So RM originally from Rap Monster, but now they are saying he kind of have different meanings for like real me or something like that. But it was So he's referred to Rap Monster before because it was more rap, right? So this is. Did you need to go back for?
I'm starting to get little things in my head.
Okay.
I still don't know.
And remember how he mentioned that the video of how he got to be rapped to this church. They shared some of that.
Sleepy recommended that
This is how he didn't
big
make
hit,
it, and then that's how he got into
one of the producers there. At age 16, Namjoon auditioned in front of Bang Si-hyuk himself and instantly impressed him. He was offered to deal with Big Hit on the spot, which Namjoon accepted and became a trainee, officially choosing a name for himself, Rap Monster, destined to become the leader of the newly created group.
So it's more hip hop art.
Now that a fearless leader was chosen, they needed more members.
There, do you recognize?
Min Young-gi was a 17-year-old living in Daegu, an avid basketball player and rapper. He had been interested in music, especially rap, from a very early age. And despite his parents' disapproval, started performing as a rapper while still in high school. He quickly gained attention as a rapper and producer in the underground hip-hop scene. One day he saw a flyer for a rap competition called Hit It and decided to participate. And although he only placed second, the company hosting the competition, you guessed it, Big Hit, decided to sign him on as a producer. Hitman Bang spoke with him afterwards, convincing him to join a newly created hip-hop group. He told him to just focus on rapping and assured him that he wouldn't need to dance. He was lying. And just like that, the new group had a second member, known as Suga, a combination of the first two syllables of shooting guard, his favorite position in basketball. But they wouldn't stop there. Rappers were nice, but Big Hit actually needed a dancer.
So,
That's like J-Hope.
Yeah, this is their J-Hope, yeah. So before it was all kind of rapping, yeah.
Jung Ho-seo always loved dancing. He was in the starting lineup of the dance crew Neuron in his hometown, Gwangju. He was good at it too, winning several local championships and even winning a championship at the national level in 2008. While he did perform at several competitions hosted by JYP and even won some of them, he ultimately went on to audition for a smaller, lesser-known company, Big Hit Entertainment. His dance skills and strong understanding of rhythm made him an instant favorite, and he was signed on as J-Hope. Not only that, but they saw potential in him to become a rapper, which at this point he had little experience with. However, J-Hope made the decision to leave Big Hit until RM convinced both J-Hope and Big Hit that the group wouldn't be complete without him. He was right.
아니 근데 형 항상 중앙고에 아니면 좋아서 와야 된다고 좋아서 안 오면 진짜 안 된다. 멤버 믿고 간 거야 나도 그냥. 올해
Like I'm wondering what happened, like what went down there.
진짜 네가 그 기억.
With the addition of J-Hope, the rap line was complete. Now they needed some singers. Now, just like how RM, an amazing rapper with a ton of experience, was chosen as the first official member of the rap line, it would only make sense that a legendary singer and dancer would be the perfect first member of the vocal line. Right?
Okay. Sorry, we're back.
Line was complete. Now they needed some singers. Now, just like how RM, an amazing rapper with a ton of experience, he was good at it too.
Did you guys
winning several local championships and
okay,
even
sorry.
winning a championship at the national level in 2008.
So they got the dancer. Okay, we got Jin.
근데 나는 진짜 네가
Who said that one?
And convinced him to become a vocalist for the company. Right?
Oh, here. What? Listen what they say.
근데 나는 진짜 네가 그 기억.
With the addition of J-Hope, the rap line was complete. Now they needed some singers. Now, just like how RM, an amazing rapper with a ton of experience, was chosen as the first official member of the rap line, it would only make sense that a legendary singer and dancer would be the perfect first member of the vocal line. Right? But Kim So-jin didn't have any sort of experience like that. Believe it or not, one day when he was walking on the streets of his hometown, Anyang, he was approached by a representative of SM Entertainment with an offer to work for the company. In typical Jin fashion, he never followed up with it because he believed it to be a scam. Apparently, Jin was a very good-looking guy because years later, this time as a college student in Seoul, he was once again approached on the street, this time by an executive at Big Hit Entertainment.
people can just have that
He
eye.
didn't sing,
Yeah.
he didn't dance.
Well,
He was
they
at
go all
school to become an
around,
actor,
so-
and he decided to audition to become an actor. Big Hit, however, had different plans for him, and convinced him to become a vocalist for their new group. To do so, he literally learned to dance and sing starting from zero, but thankfully, not without help from other vocalists. John Jungkook initially had dreams of becoming a bandmate player when he was young, but after seeing G-Dragon perform Heartbreaker on television, it influenced him to want to become a singer instead. Because of this, at only age 14, he decided to audition for the South Korean talent show Superstar K. He didn't pass auditions, but this was just enough to catch the eye of not one company, not two companies, but 7 different companies.
I thought he
This
sang
included
well.
JYP, FNC, Woollim, Starship Entertainment, TS, Cube, and of course, Big Hit Entertainment. So why did Jungkook, given the choice of all these big companies, decide to go with the relatively
You guys know this
smaller
answer?
company, Big Hit? The answer was simple,
RM.
because he thought, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
quote, RM was cool.
Right? There was
Yes,
one
yeah,
that
wanted
did
to
that
sign
to
with
RM.
That
That
brings the
one,
number
yeah.
of members to 5. The next member of BTS was just as surprised to find Big Hit as Big Hit was to find him, and it almost didn't happen. Kim Tae-young was always passionate about music, and it was always his dream to pursue it as a career. However, it was hard, as his family was poor, his parents being humble farmers. His father told him that if he was passionate about music, he should learn an instrument, and he did, spending 3 years practicing with the saxophone. One day, one of his friends decided to audition for Big Hit Entertainment when they were holding auditions in his hometown of Daegu. Taeyoung, being a good friend, came with him to keep him company. But when one of the team members in charge of the audition saw Taeyoung, he encouraged him to audition as well. With nothing to
he was
lose,
the one
he
that-
did. That day, he was the only one in Daegu to move on to the next round of
He's the one with
auditions
the
and
color
eventually
purple.
became a trainee for Big Hit Entertainment. They decided to keep him as a surprise member and didn't want to reveal him as one of the members until his debut. In the same vein, Big Hit had him choose something mysterious for his stage name. He decided to go with V for victory. Here seems like a nice round number to stop,
He's an
right?
actor, guy.
6 members for a new hip-hop group. 3 rappers and 3 vocalists. It seems like a complete group, but still there was something missing. Someone was missing. Someone that could take this already great group of artists and push it even further to achieve perfection. A powerhouse. Someone so naturally talented that they could stand out in a room full of already talented artists. This project that Big Hit had embarked upon needed a capstone. Park Jimin was a naturally talented dancer. When he was in middle school, he attended a dance academy and continued to pursue dance at Busan High School of Arts, where he studied contemporary dance and was the top student in the whole modern dance department. Impressed by his raw talent, a teacher encouraged him to audition for Big Hit Entertainment, who were holding auditions in Busan. He was only 16 when he passed the audition and moved to Seoul to become a trainee. He was the final member of the group, and he also had the shortest training period. Interesting to note is that the group feels very much ragtag because, in a sense, with the exception of Jimin and J-Hope, it was. RM auditioned for Big Hit because he didn't pass his auditions with the first company he chose. And despite their amazing talent, Suga and Jungkook didn't win the competitions they were in, but they signed on with Big Hit after the fact because of their high-quality performances. V never even planned on auditioning, but just decided to do it on a whim, and Jin, they literally just found Jin on the streets. But perhaps it was fate. This
Oh. I'm just
I
gonna.
believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. So, any thoughts before we pause?
I think looking at it, who the producer guy, he kind of had that big picture
Vision.
anyway of what he wanted. So I think even if they may have felt like, I think going back to even the other clip that we did, kind of like, as a rapper, but then I think to evolve the whole group
Moving
to
into
where,
he changed it into the idol
where it is
scene,
now. So
Yeah,
it was
sure.
kind of like that producer just had that bigger picture, which he wanted to have, I think, like you said, that positive influence for younger people that then just evolved into something even more than we would
more
ever
than they
imagine. Yeah.
yeah.
But you can see all of their stories and their like how they came together. It really is like fate, and it's like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that
this kind of thing. I mean, even in our belief system, it's like
like a
heavenly arranged.
They don't have a movie already
right?
about them.
Well, there's a
I'm
lot of
pretty sure they're
fan
gonna
things.
be,
I mean,
like,
yeah, you can
movies.
see like there's so many movies. I can
Like
just
a
see
good
it in my
K-drama.
and it could be like a K-drama. It would be like even like a musical, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because they have so many
I'm
songs.
sure it would be
Because they talk about their
movie.
lives, right? So they have like the song, you know, to go on. So
Mike loves to watch his favorite group and their story.
right? Yeah, I mean, and that's why they share so much. They have so much content, and there's like this whole series that one of the fans did. I don't think it's up anymore. The Rise of Bangtan, but they did such a wonderful job of taking all the footage and then putting it in. But you know, I really appreciate this channel as well. So we'll continue. Okay, so let's continue.
And a change to the channel. We
Oh, wait,
are
where were we?
rebranding. The era of the Asian theory is over. We are pleased to announce the new channel name. Wait for it. This was the group that they chose. And
Okay.
just like that, in 2012, the newly created Bangtan
Recording.
Sonyeondan, the Bulletproof Boy
Yeah.
Scouts, or simply BTS, was set.
Let me see.
저도 아침에 리허설 때 이거 보고 많이 웃었어요.
They had the group, but they still needed the music. In early 2013, they set out to create some social media presence for themselves before officially debuting, posting song covers on both SoundCloud and YouTube, which you can still go watch today.
So they're very
In May, Big Hit launched a countdown clock on their website in preparation for
Proactive.
BTS's debut album, complete with a trailer and a ton of promotional material,
on social media.
including photos
yeah,
for
because
the
they
first
didn't
time
have
of all
influence
the members
to
in the
go on
official
the
lineup.
major networks. to continue.
Finally, the big day came. June 12th, 2013. BTS held a press conference and a debut showcase where they performed their two singles, No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. The same day, the Too Cool for School album, as well as the music video for No More Dream, were released. The very next day, BTS performed the song again on their official debut stage on Mnet's M Countdown.
Like the hip hop and like, yeah,
This was the world's first
They do look
taste of
different.
BTS.
Yeah.
Commercially, the album didn't do extraordinarily well. The lead
Some
single,
people really
No
like
More
this-
Dream, peaked at
this
124 in Korea, and the album
hip-hop.
sold only 24,000 copies during its first year. Bulletproof Part 2 didn't even chart. The first year wasn't all that great for BTS, but despite everything, people saw them. People saw the sparkle in their eyes and their limitless potential. And they were hot, of course. On July 9th, ARMY was established as BTS's official fandom. They made their comeback only 2 months later in September when they released their single No, along with their EP, part 2 of what would be their school trilogy. Oh, Are You
Okay,
Late?
I'll tell them who.
In the
you guys-
music video for the single, they made a
J-Hope.
commentary on the harsh Korean education system, along with their previous themes of hopes and dreams. No peaked at 92 in Korea, but also quickly fell off the charts. The album debuted at number 4 on the Gaon Weekly chart and was the 55th best-selling album in South Korea that year. This was enough to secure them the coveted New Artist of the Year award
New
at the
Artist
Melon
of the
Music
Year.
Awards, the Golden Disc Awards, and the Seoul
Yeah,
Music
they won.
Awards.
for
Part 3
several-
of the School Trilogy was released in February of 2014, the EP School Love Affair. This time, the lead single was Boy in Love. And the other single being Just One Day. The album, as well as both singles, enjoyed moderate success, with the album topping the Gaon album chart, as well as making its first international appearance at number 3 on the Billboard World Albums chart. The album also marked their first distinctive change in theme, focusing more on school life and young love, as evidenced by their Boy in Love music video. They also held their first fan meetings with a crowd of 3,000
how
in
lucky
Seoul.
these
BTS was doing
people
well.
are, yeah.
That is, until
First
July.
anniversary.
This is, unfortunately, a dark chapter in the lives of BTS and ARMY.
So I would think
That's
it was
right.
a young
American
generation.
Hustle Life. I'm
Right.
joking, of course.
Really
But
broke
American
them up.
Hustle Life was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
reality
yeah.
show put together by Mnet that brought BTS to Los Angeles, where they had the unique opportunity to learn the true ways of hip-hop from the masters. And it was a pretty darn cringy opportunity, but an opportunity nonetheless.
Yeah.
Whatever you just don't watch the
Julio.
orangey version of Boy in Love. You've been warned.
Orangey.
However, cringe and all, the trip proved fruitful for BTS,
So
making
that's-
connections, performing their first US concert for free in front of 200 fans, as well as their first appearance at KCON. The next month, in August, BTS released their first full-length studio album, Dark and Wild. The album featured 2 singles, Danger and War of Hormones.
They got a lot of. I I like this song.
The album featured a marked shift in sound with a touch of R&B and electronica. It was met with moderate success. It peaked at number 2 in Korea, selling over 200,000 albums. In October and again in May of the following year, BTS went on their first and second concert tours, known as the Red Bullet Tour, where they visited 13 different countries, including Japan, the Philippines, Australia, the US, Mexico, and many others. They also came out with their first Japanese album in December, Wake Up, featuring many Japanese versions of their songs, as well as original tracks Wake Up and The Stars, followed by a Japan tour and a solo concert in Korea.
So you know that's how usually the K-pop would do. Like Japan is usually the biggest market, one of the biggest markets before it. I mean, now it's like everything is worldwide, but for Japan, so most of the artists would like have some for those fans. It's a little bit different sound, and then also they have to sing in both language. So it's a lot of work. I mean, like, you know. So they have a different name too. There was Bonan Shonan Dan. I mean, I forget like the Japanese way of pronouncing their name. I apologize. I don't know.
Although Dark and Wild got decent attention, they needed something different. They needed something that would shake things up. They got to work. April 29, 2015 was their comeback. When this album was produced, each member had a hand in writing songs for the album. They again changed their sound, from aggressive hip-hop to youthful, colorful styles. And not only their sound, but their image as well. This can be evidenced by their newest EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. And just by looking at the album cover, they ditched the dark colors and the bulletproof vest symbol that had become so synonymous with BTS, and replaced it with a simple white and pink background overlaid with the title. And then they dropped the single that would change everything. I Need You. It was sentimental, it was hopeful, it was new. Just by looking at the music video, we can see that BTS has also ditched their punk bad boy image and replaced it with a more real, vulnerable, down-to-earth, and youthful feel. This proved to be the change that BTS needed for mainstream success. Billboard called it one of the greatest K-pop songs of the decade. It charted at number 5 in Korea, and even led them to their first music show win on SBS MTV's The Show. And that wasn't all, they released their second single, Dope, on June 24th, which started off with a poignant line from RM.
어서와. 방탄은 처음이지?
Welcome. Is this your first time with BTS? And you know what? For a lot of people, it was. In a way, their first studio album and tour can be seen as their stepping stone between old school BTS and new school. In November, they came back with their follow-up EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, the second EP in what would be dubbed the Youth Trilogy, which featured the single Run. The album focused even more on the frivolity, friendship, and carefree attitude that comes with enjoying one's youth. But just like in I Need You, contrasted that with suffering, depression, loneliness, society, and the stark and sometimes dark reality of life. Compare this with the far cry of the No More Dreams music video. It felt real. It was darker, grittier, more humble, more meaningful, and most importantly, RM lost his mohawk. Run also connected narratively with their previous single, I Need You, and another video released in September titled On Stage Prologue established what would come to be known as the BTS universe, or the BU.
Storyline.
Which would eventually combine music videos, short films, books, short stories, webtoons, and even a mobile game to create a cohesive story. And I won't go down this rabbit hole because there is a lot to digest, but it's definitely something to look into
So
if you're a
already a
hardcore
K-drama
army. The same month, they kicked off their third tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life On Stage Tour, where they performed songs from their two recent EPs, Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 was a hit, their biggest so far. It topped the Weekly Gaon album and Billboard World Albums charts. And on Billboard, it stayed there for multiple weeks, the first K-pop act to do so. It also appeared on the Billboard 200 albums chart. Not world albums, which was reserved for foreign non-English songs, but simply the top 200 albums, peaking at 171. Which is kind of amazing considering that this was back in 2015. They also received Best World Performer at the 17th Mnet Asian Music Awards. This brings us to Part 3 of the Youth Trilogy, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, released on May 2nd, 2016, which featured probably my favorite BTS album cover. Young Forever was actually a compilation album of parts 1 and 2, so it was mostly the same songs, but it was notable that it had some new singles, Epilogue, Young Forever, Fire, and Save Me. The latter two performed exceptionally well, with both songs topping the Billboard World Digital Songs chart. This was also the second BTS album to chart on the Billboard 200 at 107, and it topped both the Gaon weekly and monthly chart, which earned BTS their first Daesang. Album of the Year at the 8th Melon Music Awards. They went on to do the second half of their tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on Stage Epilogue, selling out many of their concerts and even selling out KCON in the US where they headlined the event. In September, they dropped their second Japanese album, Youth, featuring Japanese versions of tracks from their previous 3 EPs. Which went gold and peaked at #1 on Japanese charts. And only a month later, in October of 2016, it happened. BTS dropped their second studio album, Wings. It sold over 500,000 copies in its first week. In comparison, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1, released just the previous year, which topped the Gaon chart, sold about 500,000 in its entire lifetime. Wings was big, but the true showstopper was its lead single, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which got them their first all-kill, topping 8 music charts in South Korea. Its music video gained 6 million views in the first 24 hours, which broke the YouTube record for the highest number of views of a K-pop group music video within 24 hours. The album hit number 26 on the Billboard 200, the highest ever charting K-pop album on Billboard. They ended up selling 1.5 million copies in South Korea in 2016 alone, and it netted them the Artist of the Year award at the Mnet Asian Music Awards that same year, the first non-Big 3 artist ever to receive that award.
수상자는 방탄소년단. So again, you know how you mentioned like 3 artists, they're from a small company, so.
After Blood, Sweat, and Tears, they were on a roll. BTS was unstoppable. In February of 2017, they released the instant hit Spring Day, which, quoting a Korean reviewer, embodied nostalgia and sorrow and opened a new chapter in BTS's aesthetics and lyricism, and attracted fans across generational boundaries. Which, by the way, is still on Korean charts after nearly 4 years, and the same day I'm writing this, it ranked number 53 on Melon. It won Song of the Year at the 9th Melon Music Awards. After the release of Spring Day, they went on yet another tour, the 2017 BTS Live Trilogy, Episode 3, The Wings Tour. The tickets sold out within minutes, including in the United States, the first K-pop artist to do so, and went on to win Best Social Artist at the Billboard Music Awards, the first for a Korean artist, but they would go on to win this award 4 years in a row. The next year was a period of massive growth for both the group's popularity as well as their style. They released the Love Yourself series, starting with Love Yourself Her in September of 2017, Love Yourself Tear in May of 2018, and Love Yourself Answer in August of 2018. 3 albums that gave us some of the most classic BTS songs that we know and love today, such as Mic Drop, Fake Love, Euphoria, Idol, and of course,
So this is, I think, my first performance I saw.
All 3 albums were commercial successes. Her being their first album to top 2 million album sales. But Tear and Answer also did equally well. These 3 albums, as well as their Japanese album, Face Yourself, proved that they weren't done yet, not even close. During this time, they shattered countless records. Their singles went platinum, they topped charts, they won awards. And not only did they break YouTube records, but they broke records that they themselves set again and again and again. This is the period where BTS really started enjoying global recognition, working with huge Western artists such as Nicki Minaj, Designer, and Steve Aoki. It wasn't their first time having international features on their songs, but it was definitely the biggest. And even though they were already, without a doubt, the biggest act to ever come out of South Korea, they had their eyes set even higher. They went on tour once again for the Love Yourself World Tour. During this tour, they collaborated with Steve Aoki to make the song Wasted on Me. Notable for being their first all-English feature. And it also served as a jumping-off point for BTS to gain a following of English speakers. Not that they really needed the help, as they sold out concerts even in the US leg of the tour, including at Citi Field in Queens, New York, where tickets sold out in 20 minutes. And, as if that wasn't enough, they dropped the movie in November, Burn the Stage, which in the US alone grossed $3.54 million in the first weekend, breaking the record set by One Direction's movie, This Is Us. In September, RM had the unique opportunity to speak at the United Nations, where he spoke of anti-violence and self-love. 2 years later, he would be offered to speak on a second occasion about persistence and hope in the face of challenges. And to top it all off, in October, the president of South Korea awarded every member of BTS the 5th class Hwangwon Order of Cultural Merit for outstanding meritorious services in the field of culture and art, which is one of the highest South Korean orders of merit one can receive. And that's no exaggeration. 2019 estimates put BTS's contribution to the South Korean economy to the tune of $4.65 billion each year, an equivalent to 0.3% of the country's GDP. They were the youngest to ever receive the honor. 2019. BTS invited to the Grammys, Time Magazine, Billboard. BTS entered a new era. Not an era of simply global recognition, but global dominance. April 12th, 2019, enter Map of the Soul Persona. First things first, you can't mention Map of the Soul Persona without mentioning Boy With Love. It was simple math. What do you get when you cross the singer of one of the best charting songs of all time that went platinum 59 times in 13 different countries with, without a question, the most globally dominant pop group of all time? Well, you get this. Nothing less than an instant hit. Number 8 on Billboard Hot 100. Platinum in the US. 21 music show wins. Number 1 on iTunes in 67 really, different countries. The most liked and the most viewed YouTube video in the first 24 hours. The fastest video to reach 100 million views. A current view count of over 1 billion views. 7 boys, 1 girl, and 7 different hair colors. They were the talk of the town, invited to talk show after talk show after talk show. The second single on the album was Make It Right. Oh, I can make it right. Written by Ed Sheeran himself, including a version featuring Loud. The album debuted at number 1 on Gaon and sold 3.2 million copies its first month, and that's only in Korea. It became the best-selling album in South Korea ever. It swept every major Korean music show, winning Album of the Year in each one of them. They followed up this legendary EP with the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself World Tour, where they sold out both the Rose Bowl and the Wembley Stadium in only an hour, the only non-English speaking act to do so. They even performed as a solo act in Saudi Arabia, the first foreign act to do that. The last stop of their tour was at South Korea's largest venue, the Seoul Olympic Stadium. They ended up grossing $200 million. During this time, they also created a visual novel-style game for mobile devices called BTS World, where the player can interact with the members. This also came with an original soundtrack with tracks unique to the game featuring Western artists. Zara Larsson, Charlie XCX, and Juice WRLD for the tracks A Brand New Day, Dream Glow, and All Night, respectively. In December of 2019, the group swept the grand prizes for both the Melon and Mnet Music Award shows, the first artist to do that. Map of the Soul Persona was legendary, truly a marvel in modern music. So how could BTS follow up the best-selling album in South Korean history, you might ask? Easy. Make an even better-selling album. And that's what they did with Map of the Soul 7. The album was released on February 21st of 2020, featuring the singles Black Swan and On. And sold over 4.1 million albums in just the first week, and the first Korean album to be certified as quadruple million on the Gaon Music Chart. It debuted at number 1 on music charts all over the world, including the US, Korea, the UK, Japan, and much of Europe. It's not an exaggeration to say that this album left a permanent mark on the world, launching BTS into legendary status and becoming the best-selling artist in South Korean history. BTS had scheduled a Map of the Soul tour for April of that year, which would have undoubtedly outsold their record-breaking tour only a year prior. But unfortunately, the COVID pandemic caused the entire tour to be postponed, including the show at the Rose Bowl, which I was supposed to attend. But that didn't stop BTS, who performed virtual concerts, spoke at the Dear Class of 2020 graduation event, and released the Japanese version of their recent album with an original Japanese single, Stay Gold. Stay Gold! And to top it all off, this was only June. At this point, it was clear that BTS had already dominated their home turf, and they had topped the music charts all over the world. This time, their sight was set for the very top. Remember that scene in The Social Network where Mark and Sean talk about how they don't want $1 million, they want $1 billion. How they're not interested in catching 14 trout, but they'd rather catch an 800-pound marlin? Well, that's what they set their sights on. The marlin, the biggest music industry in the world, the United States. And at the top of that music industry, number 1 on Billboard Hot 100. This small group from a company that virtually no one had heard about 8 years ago planned to take on Goliath himself and dominate the American industry on their home turf. And all they had to do was speak English. August 21st. Enter Dynamite.
Pause. So, he mentions like they set their sights, but when you hear some of their interviews, it may be their company, but they've never thought, and some of them never really wanted to get so big, but they knew it was, right?
But they always knew that something was lacking, so they're going to bring something else in. They said, oh, something's missing, so they're going to do something else.
Well, I feel like just like how
That's
you know,
why-
in life you evolve. Like I
That's why they get better and better because
they were
missing, but
I
it's-
also
But he
think
did
that
say-
they
I don't
collaborated
know.
well, like a teamwork. That's how I feel like. So when they work together, people see that harmony within the group. Like, I mean, that's really right. The key to success is what we say is greatest harmony. But like when they're coming together, they all have a part to play. Like they're all composing like the music and helping each other. Like, I'm assuming because. Like,
Yeah, I think that's where
do you
that's
continue
the
to have that
videos.
kind of a success.
Yeah, I
It's
wanted to show you
amazing
some of the
that-
behind the scenes, but
like you don't hear that, and for that long I didn't realize they were so long standing. Like I just thought, because I don't really know. I don't know the whole music world either. I don't know who Halsey is. I don't know who anybody really.
but
so.
you didn't know Ed Sheeran back then. You didn't know who Adele was,
Well, I
so
do
that's
know,
where
yeah.
her.
Ed Sheeran, I like.
Now you do,
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I don't usually follow any of that kind of music stuff. So I guess watching how they've evolved too with their music, but then kind of as it grows, I think that's how their fan base grows too, because it relates to everybody. Like everybody has something that they can understand about the music, and like
Yeah, they have so
and
many.
it's,
Well,
yeah,
one.
and different. Yeah, it's like different.
So what you're
types of
saying
how
was
they
like
started.
so many genres? Or no?
Yeah,
so
well,
many,
no, it's just like
the-
it's just about like how they started with the real hip hop and
hip hop, and
and
then
then-
they evolve. They keep
yeah, and
evolving.
I know it's probably
evolving.
like the producing and stuff like that, and they're just trying to see. But then I think, like you said, they want to make others happier, right? I mean, they want people to listen to music to have that kind of like inspiration and know that there's hope. Like the other video we saw, right? Like in the beginning, like that's really what their lyrics are trying to do, make people get a better understanding or perspective, even on life. Like they tackle some of the social issues and things like that. So I find that that's what people are needing, right? And that's what music does for
and
people.
then-
It touches their heart too.
Yeah.
yeah, and then that they are writing their stories, so it seems genuine. And
I think the
sincere.
sincerity,
Yeah,
is
and
what
that's
it
I
is.
think they
The
say that they feel
sincerity
it's the
is-
key, the sincerity in their genuineness.
And maybe not necessarily to just have the fame or the fortune, of course, it comes with things,
Yeah.
but then for them
But
to be able to stay grounded and more
Yeah.
down to earth, but really
But
know that
because
this is their
of what they believe in, that's why they got
they have to
where
stay
they are
grounded
today.
and stay true to their values too, right? Not try to be somebody that they're not. So I think that
Yeah, I think they learned from the beginning part because
Yeah.
not all of them were comfortable
Yeah.
in that kind of concept.
yeah.
Where like Jin was supposed to be like the cool one, and he wasn't supposed to talk much, but he's actually like the goofy one, or he's like
I think
Very
you
fun.
get to see who they
Yeah.
truly are, I guess, through their own stories.
yeah, and then that they
way
have so
you-
much media.
you like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, this.
Their first English single simultaneously
This
performed
is
better
like
than anyone had expected,
in
but at the
COVID.
same time is exactly what we as an audience had come to expect from the legendary boy band themselves.
So
And
this
they
is
did.
their.
They reached #1
They're
on
just
the
trying
US
to
Billboard
make
Hot
people
100,
happy,
the
but
Global 200,
they did not
and the
expect
Global
this.
excluding US chart. And they made sure that if you hadn't heard of them before, you definitely have now. And if that wasn't already the biggest flex, on October 2nd they came out with Savage Love BTS Remix with Jason Derulo, getting #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 again, less than 2 months after already getting a #1 with Dynamite, and on the Global 200 where they actually replaced themselves at
I don't
#1,
think they
the
need
first
it.
artist to do so
That-
ever.
But
And this is where we stopped in the original video, October of 2020. So, what's happened since then? Well, not much.
So, I don't know, Army can say, but I don't think they needed to collaborate with other artists. I mean, I think they respect
I think-
and admire, but
yeah.
it wasn't really because I don't know if their fandom might be even bigger than the other people's fandoms.
No,
you know?
well, maybe not. Well, I'm thinking as they grow, they want to expand how they evolve. It's like how you want to learn from other people. So that's
Yes.
and
Oh,
being-
yeah. So I
being,
think like being
knowing that
able
they can
to work with others and have other
different talents
sounds.
and then collaborate. I
Yeah.
think that's really what music
And
is
their
about.
followers
Yeah.
going to follow them.
Well,
The
yeah, I
ones
think
that
it's
see
like
it.
both sides, but
So,
I think
yeah.
it's like, well, I think for me, I like to always see collaboration with other people because
Yeah.
it shows that you have like,
It'll be interesting
and then
to
you have
see-
respect for other people. It's not like we're bigger than you or the other way around. It's just like
Well,
they
I
just
think.
want to make good music.
Well, I think yeah. So I think now too, a lot of them they have different collaborations, and it's people that they want to collaborate with, like their idols or people that they learned about, and so I think like they listen to a lot of music, so it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the big names. It's just like what fits maybe the song or
Yeah.
but I don't know. There might be other where you know how on the TV shows they would have a lot of like the guest hosts in the original. They weren't so keen on that. It was just like the company is trying to grow them, so they might be, I don't know, strategic in that way too. But
Oh, I thought it was more like on their part, they want, like both sides, they come together because like, again, they respect each other, hopefully.
yeah,
that's
I
all it
would
is.
think that
I would
hopefully
hope that would be it.
for a majority, or hopefully most of
Like
them.
work with somebody you like to work with.
Yeah, but you know how like they don't even have to work with each other. They just do their parts. The way music is made, it's not like they're going in the same booth. They're writing. It's like just exchanging. It's kind of different than what maybe our concept of music making is. So it's just that. But some I think could be like that. Like now, I think they're getting more of that collaborative thing. So I think that's really nice. What were they talking about?
On November 20th, their fifth studio album, B, was released, featuring the hit single Life Goes On.
I like this song.
B was met with critical acclaim and hit #1 on Billboard 200 and the World Albums Chart, the fifth BTS album to do so, along with topping worldwide charts in countries like Belgium, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, and of course, their hometown, South Korea. And in spite of all these accolades, perhaps the biggest winner was Life Goes On. A synth-pop showstopper encouraging its audience to continue living life, even in the midst of a global pandemic. The message was clear: don't give up, life goes on. It hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, the third BTS song to do so. BTS gave the fans what they wanted with Life Goes On. Life Goes On joined the exclusive club of only 8 songs to ever top the Billboard Hot 100 that were not in English, a title most recently held by Despacito. But it was the first to do it in BTS's native tongue, Korean.
Lipa, Bad Bunny, and Tiny. Intentions by Justin Bieber and Quavo. Dynamite by BTS.
The same month, the Academy announced that BTS's Dynamite would be nominated for the Best Pop Duo Group Performance, along with songs by J Balvin, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and Taylor Swift. This marked the first time a Korean pop artist was nominated for a Grammy. In December, BTS was invited to sing for Disney's holiday sing-along. And on New Year's Eve, Big Hit put on a New Year's concert where they performed again. Things looked really good for BTS and their Grammy nomination, especially since on March 4th, 2021, the official news came. The International Federation of the Phonographic Industry, or IFPI, announced BTS as the Global Recording Artist of the Year, an award given to the best-selling artist of 2020, period, beating out 9 other prominent Western
Do you know
artists,
these
making
guys?
them the
I
first
know.
artist from Korea, but
The
perhaps
one
more
with the
importantly, the first
voice,
non-English
for
artist
the voice
to do so.
sound.
Later
I
that
like
month,
voice.
the Grammys, the main event that everyone was waiting for, finally arrived. With bated breath, BTS and the world watched. And, well,
And the Grammy goes to Rain on Me, Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande.
they didn't win. However, they made history for being the first South Korean artist to perform at the Grammys, after presenting at the Grammys the year prior. March 31st, 2021, Big Hit Entertainment officially rebrands as HYBE and completely revamps their organization.
They're like the
BTS
biggest.
now falls under Big Hit Music, which is now a subsidiary of HYBE Labels, a division of the HYBE Corporation.
what they
2
form
days
it.
later,
It's all to
HYBE
BTS.
acquires
Oh,
Scooter
it's all
Braun's
BTS
Ithaca
money.
Holdings. Scooter Braun Projects
Anyway.
is a subsidiary of Ithaca Holdings that manages several artists, including Ariana
now
Grande,
they get
Justin
other-
Bieber, J
so
Balvin,
they-
Carly Rae
yeah,
Jepsen,
now
Black
it's
Eyed
like
Peas, Demi
sister,
Lovato, and
it's like-
others, which
They
means
went
that those
to
artists are now part of
US.
the same family as BTS.
Oh.
Then, at long last, BTS announced their highly anticipated follow-up single to their smash English hit Dynamite. And that single was Butter,
Wait, that's
May
a big
21st,
thing.
2021.
Smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover. Don't
It didn't disappoint. The retro summer pop
But
hit
that's
met
also
immediate
something,
success and
yeah.
universal praise.
Yeah,
Butter
that's
was
so
yet
pretty.
another #1 on the Billboard Hot 100
pretty
and once
common
again topped the charts
commercials.
around the world. Not only that, but it had 3.9 million viewers at its premiere, which broke the previous record held by Dynamite. It also broke the record for fastest YouTube video to reach 10 million views and 100 million views, both also previously held by Dynamite. It was the most viewed music video on YouTube in the first 24 hours, with 108.2 million views, once again surpassing the 101.1 million views set by Dynamite. And finally, at 11 million streams on its first day on Spotify,
they
it
have
once
to
again
work
set a
hard.
new world record.
Oh,
And as an
they-
amazing
they
gesture,
really-
Mara makes a
I mean,
shout out
it's
to
like
BTS's
kinda
fans
not
army, who helped them get to where they are today.
Successful albums. I mean, you know they have to work. Like you just.
Oh yeah, that's why if you hear some of
Yeah.
backside, they had they said maybe 1.5 days off
Yeah.
a month,
Yeah.
A month.
and you can imagine going.
Yeah, nonstop, and then you
But
got
nonstop.
their energy level too. If
Yeah,
you're
you have to-
performing, it's
yeah,
really,
so it
it
was-
must be hard to keep that.
It was really hard. I mean, they
You know,
really
yeah.
worked so hard. They couldn't see family and.
They love what
All of
they're
this is to
doing.
say,
Yeah,
it
and
can-
that's-
Yeah, but even if you love what you're doing, when you're not
Non-stop,
sleeping and it's
yeah.
nonstop, it takes a
Sometimes
toll,
get-
and then
yeah.
you burn out. So that's the thing I think you have to be careful of. I think.
Eventually, what? Look at how.
Well,
popular
they've-
they are.
they've- I think they had to-
Military, no?
Yeah, but they had to overcome that because there was a time that I don't know if he's going to
There's
mention
a
it.
time
They're
when they
gonna
had to.
they were going to break up. But they're
was
thinking about it.
really big.
Oh.
Their new single broke streaming records on Spotify and YouTube.
Obsessed with this song. Is really, really amazing.
I mean, what is the inspiration behind the new song?
Butter and butter.
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 That's what's Butter's about.
Butter eventually became
They
Billboard's
must have been
longest
sitting all
running
day,
#1 song
like-
of 2021,
like,
spending 10
interviews.
weeks atop the chart, beating out Olivia Rodrigo's Driver's License.
Wow.
Yeah, we're here for the BTS.
I went to go get. I mean, please go get for me.
Chicken McNuggets. And one more thing. Two more things. Sweet soy sauce and
That was good.
Cajun.
On May 26th, the BTS meal launched.
Got the BTS meal at McDonald's.
Yeah, that happened.
They did that? Oh, wow.
June 16th, BTS releases their third Japanese
What year was
compilation
this?
album known as BTS The Best. It instantly hit #1 on Japan's Oricon chart and sold over 1 million albums, the first and only Korean boy group so far to accomplish this feat. The new Japanese single, Film Out, was released 2 months earlier and debuted at #1 on the Oricon chart. And as an interesting fact, charted at 185 on the Billboard 200 excluding US chart, joining Dynamite and Life Goes On, making BTS the only artist to ever have 3 songs in 3 different languages on the Billboard 200. On July 1st, following an organizational restructuring, the HYBE Corporation announced that Hitman Bang, our same Hitman Bang who got the boys together, resigned as CEO of the company in order to focus on his passion for music production. And while he is still the chairman of the board of directors, he was replaced as CEO by Park Ji-won. On July 7th, BTS became official models for Louis Vuitton as they walked the runway for part of their men's fall-winter 2021 collection. They were named as ambassadors only 2 months prior, and then for their teaser trailer, they forgot to put V in the video. And finally, that brings us to July 9, Permission to Dance. The hit song, which was written by Ed Sheeran, spreads positive vibes as the world starts to recover from the global pandemic. Its YouTube debut saw 72.3 million views in the first 24 hours, placing itself at number 6 of the top 10 most viewed music videos in the first 24 hours. Out of BTS's past 5 singles, 3 of them have been fully in English. And while this trend has been concerning for some fans who have been wanting more traditional Korean pop songs, there's no denying that BTS has enjoyed global recognition like no other international and particularly non-English group before them. And that itself is a sign of success that can't be ignored. And as a fun fact, there's a line in the song referencing legendary singer-songwriter Elton John.
When it all seems like it's wrong, sing along to Elton John and to that feeling.
He gave the song his personal approval. That same month, BTS once again tops the Billboard Hot 100 with Permission to Dance, marking number 5 of BTS singles that have topped the Billboard Hot 100. In August, Big Hit officially cancels the Map of the Soul tour due to the pandemic, but to everyone's surprise, only a month later they announced Permission to Dance on-stage tour, being their first live concert since 2019. The tour kicked off with a concert in Seoul in October, but later announced dates for Los Angeles in November and December. Barely 2 months after their previous number 1 hit, BTS collaborates with legendary British rock band Coldplay to drop yet another number 1 hit on Billboard's Hot 100 with My Universe.
Forever, baby.
You heard of Coldplay?
In November, BTS wins Artist of the Year at the American Music Awards.
I would have Coldplay. I heard of them. But I don't know anything.
Not only were they the first K-pop group to ever win the award, but they were the first Asian act ever to win that award.
Next, we have Best Pop Duo or Group Performances. The nominees are Butter by BTS.
Coldplay.
The same week, they were nominated for a Grammy for Best Pop Group Performance. From November 27th to December 2nd, BTS held its first international concert since 2019 in Los Angeles, California, the Permission to Dance onstage tour. And, well, it was insane. They were to perform at the SoFi Stadium, one of the largest stadiums in the United States, and coincidentally, it would be the same stadium that held the Super Bowl. Pre-sales started October 5th for those who bought VIP soundcheck tickets. And though ticket sales for the general public were supposed to start on October 9th, they ended up selling out before it even started. Demand for the tickets was so high that scalpers were reselling tickets for up to $40,000. Thankfully, we were one of the lucky ones, and we were able to snag a few tickets and finally see them in person.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
It felt like a farewell concert. And it really was supposed to be, with the uncertainty about the future of the world, as well as Jin's enlistment looming over the group's head, but thanks to recently passed South Korean legislation known colloquially as the BTS Law, the group had been granted a postponement on their mandatory military service until further notice. And just to show that they weren't done yet, only 2 months later, tour dates were added for April 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. On December 6, 2021, BTS surprised their fans as they launched individual Instagram accounts for the first time ever. In doing so, V broke the record for the fastest time to reach 1 million followers on Instagram in just 43 minutes. And then he also achieved the fastest time to reach 10 million followers after only 4 hours and 52 minutes. The same day, the group announced that they were suspending activities in order to take an extended period of rest so that they could spend more time with their family. And this is crazy. This is only their second break that they've ever taken since their debut in 2013, which is just such a testament of how hard they actually work. The break was definitely well-deserved.
상자는 우리의 멋진 방탄소년단.
축하합니다. 방탄소년단 버터.
방탄소년단.
방탄소년단.
On December 11th, BTS swept the Mnet Asian Music Awards, winning all 4 daesangs. This marks the 3rd consecutive year that BTS has swept the awards, showing no signs of slowing down in their home country. In February, BTS won IFPI's Best Selling Artist of the Year award for the 2nd time in a row, the only artist ever to do so, and only the 3rd artist to win more than once, along with Taylor Swift and Drake. Impressive considering how new BTS is on the international stage compared to the others. On March 25th, Snoop Dogg officially confirms an upcoming collaboration with BTS that he had been hinting at since January of the same year. Funny enough, he admits that he didn't know at the time exactly how big they were.
My husband likes hip-hop and stuff.
From the biggest artists in the world, I got a group named BTS that's waiting on me to do a song with them right now, and I'm trying to figure out if I got time to do this.
Regardless, it's nice to see BTS revisit their hip-hop roots every now and then. And that brings us to today, Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. BTS had been previously nominated for the Grammys once before, and even then they were by far the most accomplished and critically acclaimed artists in their category, and they didn't win. Unfortunately, history repeated itself. They once again were snubbed of the trophy. Some might regard this as a huge loss, a huge blow to BTS and their fans. Sure, some might say that they missed out on the most prestigious music award the world can give. Right? I'd argue, no, not really. I'm sure if they had one, ARMY around the world would celebrate as BTS wins against all odds in a rigged award show skewed towards American English-speaking songs. But the truth is, they never needed to win an award to garner any sort of praise. They don't need a trophy to be validated. They were able to do that all on their own. Boy bands come and go, but BTS continues to prove themselves by pushing the envelope, pushing themselves to the limit. BTS sets new records, they smash decade-long records, and then they replace themselves by breaking their own records by the very next thing they do. That's just what BTS does. From humble beginnings in their old studio dance practice room to selling out the world's largest stadiums, these 7 boys have crawled their way up to the top thanks to their own blood, sweat, and tears. They dominate a world that 10 years ago would have been unthinkable for any Asian group. Even 5 years ago, the majority of people you'd meet wouldn't have listened to K-pop or even heard of K-pop. In the past year, their popularity has grown so much that we often forget how groundbreaking they are as a group and how much progress they've made in such little time on the world stage, not only for themselves, but for Korean and Asian representation for a whole. From the early days of their first fan meetings to today, a staggering 41 million members of ARMY have been with them, some since the beginning, but others joining along the way. Each one of us started following them because of one of their songs that spoke to us, or maybe it was something that they said, or their amazing talents that spoke for themselves, or maybe it's something they stood for, or maybe you just think they're hot. And that's fine too. Regardless of the reason you initially started following them, the important thing is that you're here for it, and that you're along for the ride, and that you continue to find beauty in the things that they do, because according to the group themselves, they chose the theme for their album, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, because in life, beauty coexists with uncertainty. And even in uncertain times like ours, we can find that beauty. And with all their talent, the members of BTS really could have chosen to do so many other things, but they chose to share some of that beauty with us. And I'm grateful for that. And I can't wait to see what the future holds.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, is it one more?
It's our April 2022 update.
Okay.
There's been lots of crazy things happening recently, and I'm excited to see what the rest of 2022 has in store for the group and for all of us. Thank you to everyone who's been watching our videos. We're always looking to improve our videos, so if you find something that needs improving, leave a comment below. And remember, this video was made possible by Vapor95. Use our link in the description to get 15% off your order. And a big shout out for our over 180,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
That's insane.
Thank you, Asian.
You guys are the best.
Thank you,
and as
Vice
always,
Squad.
thanks for watching, everyone.
Okay, down to the end. Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining us to the end. But any last things? It was long.
Well, I didn't realize the whole scope of, like, I don't think anybody envisioned, or like could have really thought like how big they could get. I think maybe the producer, I don't know, but
they said that themselves.
I'm quite amazed with.
Well, they work
their
hard.
accomplishment.
They deserve. You feel like.
I mean, they're so young too.
Yeah,
and
so
they work
young.
so hard.
Well,
they have a good head on their shoulders.
Yeah. So, but for me,
Because
like,
they're so
when I saw the AMAs, like, it just, how you just watch TV, and I was like, wow, this Asian group, because we've never ever seen any kind of Asian groups in American. Like, do you know of any?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know anyone anyway, but like,
we're only beginning.
And I was like, wow, I must be so out of things. Like, there's like. And I just felt like, wow, the world is changing, that we can have like at the forefront like this, and so that made me kind of curious. I was like, wow, I was very like excited as a Asian American, right, to that. embracing that. But yeah, so it was initially just for the first part to see how all of the members came on, but as you watch, you can kind of see their journey. And I like the way he wrapped it up. So I think the Rice Squad, wonderful videos, you know, about, you know, sharing and the beautiful life, finding beauty in uncertainty as we go on. And so maybe like the next videos, I had some other documentaries later, and maybe Armin can also suggest like the life goes on. If we ever react, we weren't going to do too much song reactions, but that one has a good message. Because the first one we never did the 2, 3. I did want to show you that one maybe after the hardship. We did that one already, but we didn't post it. But the hardships, because for me, after you see the hardships, I know like we viewed the Be Free thing earlier, and that's just like one area, but like the things. And I know it's kind of heavy messages, but it kind of, that was what kind of really endeared me, like, wow, these people went through all of that and are still like moving really forward, like, right? Yeah, you open my heart to them, because you know, you just think, oh, they're successful. People don't think of all the hard work and all the struggle.
Yeah, we only see the
you know so
that's why I like watching these videos.
Yeah, but this one too just hints at it, but the other one tells you like, wow, they had to go through all of this, and remember they're young boys. You know, it would be hard for any person to kind of go through.
So that's a good story.
Many of the things.
Movie, like,
I'm sure.
Or I guess you said they have like
they have like the fan, and I think they're gonna hopefully do it. They have a book, but they don't mention those things. But it's, I could see it like a, you know, like what do they, a series type of trilogy type of thing, because they're right now in their individual, like everyone's growing. And later on, I wanted to watch maybe some, because you mentioned you wanting to watch one of their variety. So I was going to show you one of the ones that I like, around BTS. And also, I like the interviews where you get to
I kind of want to know their I think I could identify them better if I knew their personality.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, I wanted to go through the Switchita, where it's like, he had, so Suga, it's his show, and he has a dialogue with each of the members, so you get to know the whole members, and then you get to see their interaction too, and then they also usually reflect. So I think that would be a nice showcase of their personalities as well. But thank you everyone for joining us for all of this time. I know it's been a long time. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha. Borahe. Borahe. You guys remember that term? Borahe.
What does that mean?
I propose you.
I propose you.
Meaning I love you. Like I love you, appreciate you, you know. Okay, bye bye.
Sure.
My mom knows the heart already.
Like that's
she's learning. Yeah, and then like this and like this. Yeah, I think. Okay, bye bye. Okay.